I'm here today to talk about work from wherever. Why your company should be considering a work from wherever for all of your employees. Okay, I'm going to go straight over to Calvin. So what is work from wherever, and why that word wherever?
So I'm glad you asked that, because I've been having to correct a lot of people who keep saying like, "Oh, that's work from home, right?" And no, it's not. Working from home is not going to work for everybody, and so it's important for leaders to have a more inclusive plan on how they're going to work in the future. And when you take the sense of place away as a major requirement, you get so many more benefits to your business and to your employees. So it's very specifically picked, the word whatever, because it marginalizes the where the work is done, and it focuses the attention on the work.
Thank you. Calvin, tell us a little bit about why now? Like, why is the right time now to launch a program like this?
Well, we've been seeing trends, we've all been seeing trends that are moving us to a more flexible, remote, mobile, human-centric set of experiences. And this is not just for consumers and the consumer trends that we've seen with more consumers buying things online and things like that, but it's also for it's also for employees. COVID has simply accelerated this by about 3 to 5 years. And the old adage of location, location, location was and is still an important thing, but it's not the most important thing. It's more about convenience, convenience, convenience. Because if location was the most important thing, Amazon would never have been successful. And so we've looked into our future, and this is what we saw. And we're the kind of organization that likes to go first.
Thank you. I love that, and I love going first. So Greer, let's go over to you, and I'd love to hear if you could share a little bit around how the Rocketeers benefit our team members. How do they benefit in this setup?
Well, one thing that's, I think, always been really true about our group of people is we have a wide diversity of personalities. And honestly, one of the biggest challenges of my job has always been serving all of those different personalities with my limited resources and with the limited resources of our office. And so I think now something that's really amazing with the work from wherever model is, no office can perfectly serve every single Rocketeer, every single employee, but in a work from wherever model, people can be in the places that they need to be to get their work done. And I think that meets their needs a lot better than a traditional office environment.
No, that's right on it. It's so interesting about this idea of flexibility for me to choose where I'm going to be able to do my best work. Luke, give us a sense of, either the employee, team member, a Rocketeer perspective, or also perhaps the client perspective. How does this benefit our partners and clients?
I think there's several real benefits to it. Some of these are benefits to the company, but also benefits to our clients. So we think about being able to draw from a wider group of candidates to work at Bottle Rocket. We can be more diverse, both just in social, political ways, but also location. And we can just draw from the best of the best wherever they are. And really that's a benefit to us, but that's also a huge benefit to our clients to be able to have some of the best developers in the world working on their projects. And then things like higher retention and employee satisfaction leads to better outcomes for our clients in that same sort of retention. But we're also getting, and we have gotten much better at remote collaboration through all of this. And we're developing those skills now and have been developing them now for several months. And we're seeing benefits to our clients because now meetings that we thought for years had to be done in person are now being able to be done remotely. And we're seeing just as much success in them. Not to say that we'll never want to meet them in person, but there are things that we didn't even consider doing in person until now. And we're seeing a lot of success there. I think really, and this is a little bit further out, is there's this idea sometimes of working at our client's location. And our employees may not be used to that because they're used to working in just our office. Well, now with that idea of being able to work from wherever, well, maybe we have you work at the client office, but maybe you're spending more time there. And so you're actually getting a little bit more embedded. So I think that our clients could see those benefits in the long term.
No, thank you, Luke. Yeah, so I mean, there's two paths we could go here. We could go down the route of like digging into tools, and I think we should do that. But Calvin, before we do you want to build on any of the comments Luke made around the company benefits?
Absolutely. One that he pointed out, which we're finding to be very true, is we're able to have a more diverse organization because we're able to pull from a larger talent pool versus just the people that are within a 30-minute drive from our office. This allows us to be more inclusive. It allows us to be more representative of the total population. And it allows us to work with the best and the brightest wherever they are. The other thing is, let's not forget about how risky and expensive and time-consuming commuting to work is. Whether you're a 15-minute drive or an hour and 15-minute drive, that is a massive number of hours every single week that you are spending a lot of money, you're hurting the environment, and you're putting yourself at risk. And so while we're not suggesting that no one ever gets in their car again, but we're saying that we can trade that or several days of that a commute for more productivity, as well as more time with friends and family, which allows us to recharge our batteries. And recharging and regenerating strength is a very important part of high performance. I believe we will enjoy greater employee engagement because of happier, more engaged employees, and that engagement will trickle down into even better, higher quality work for our clients. And we think retention has always been a tough part of any business, especially businesses like Bottle Rocket that are always pushing the limits of things. And we believe that this will allow us to retain our employees that do live in Dallas much more, but also those that need to move outside of Dallas. In the past, we've had to say farewell to them. And when we do that, we say farewell to years and years of built up cumulative business intelligence. And now we can continue to work with those individuals wherever they go.
Thank you, Calvin. All right, so I'm going to switch it up here, and we are going to do a top tools roundtable. So, Greer, over to you. What's one of the top tools that you're using right now, anywhere you want, around the Bottle Rocket ecosystem of tools?
I think for me, because I do a lot of cultural support, Slack is definitely my go-to. Even though I don't do any project work at Bottle Rocket, making sure that I know where kind of the heart of the Rocketeers are, and just keeping up day-to-day conversations with people, checking in on them, just seeing kind of what the pulse is at any given time. Like, Slack is absolutely essential in our current work from wherever environment.
I love it, and it's interesting how, we would roll by each other's desks, and I'm also being able to just roll by and say hi to people, but it's just happening in a different way, an asynchronous way, lightweight way. Luke, one of your top tools.
One of them is Miro, which is kind of a virtual whiteboard where you can do a lot of things easier than a whiteboard. So draw lines that then you can move around and like sticky notes and, basically cover a whole board. And so we've used it to replicate some things that we used to have on walls in the office and throwing those up there. And it's been great, and a great digital way to have something we can work very collaboratively on.
For viewers who don't know, one of the great things about Bottle Rocket is essentially all of our walls are whiteboard. And, until we started collaborating, and we can put the whole gang on Miro, which is amazing. We can all be in our own wherever location, doing whatever. And we can be getting in there and collaborating in real time, in real space, on an unlimited whiteboard, even bigger than we've got in our office. I'm sure we're going to continue to do some whiteboarding in person, but it's a great way to to work in the meantime. Calvin, what about you? One of your top tools?
So employee engagement is very important to me. And so Lattice has been a welcome addition to our arsenal of tools. I'm also really finding it very enjoyable to be having video conferences, video calls. You can really connect with someone and relate with someone much better when you can see them. What is it, like 80% of communication is body language, something like that. So we use Zoom. We find it to be the most powerful, feature-filled, highest performing and easiest to use tool. And I'd rather people be, on calls, working and coming up with great ideas versus diagnosing why their video conference software isn't working properly or how to get someone new on the line. And then finally, one that's a company we've been working with for a long time for one reason, we're now going to be working with them for another reason, and that's Team, T-E-E-M. If you've been to Bottle Rocket, you know that we have iPads outside of every single common space and conference room and meeting area. And we use Team to manage all of the reservations of physical space. But if you think about it in a working from wherever environment, when you come to work, you might have a desk, and when you come to work, you might not have a place where you would normally sit down. And so with Team, we can essentially, people can reserve space, they can reserve the desks, they can reserve all sorts of things.
Thank you, Calvin. That's great. And let's switch it up a bit and jump into culture. So one of the things that I believe makes Bottle Rocket very special is our unique culture. And I know every company would say that they have a unique culture, but maybe Greer, you could shed a little bit of light on how we are maintaining our culture in this new environment.
Of course. So we're obviously this is a period of transition for us. And in some ways that transition has been pretty simple. Like for example, we used to have whiskey club in the kitchen every Thursday evening, and everyone would just bring their bottle down at the end of the day and kind of just sip and chat with one another. And so that's been a pretty easy transition into kind of the digital Zoom environment, and that it's just turned into a call, and everybody gets on a call with their glass and they all just kind of chat for an hour or so. But some other things are kind of a bit more challenging, figuring out how to take a lot of our really poignant cultural events that kind of need to happen in person, and how can we make those just as impactful wherever? And so, we're working really hard right now with the Lift team, who is kind of our cultural supporters of the office, how we can bring those events into a digital space, into a wherever space, or how can we take little bits of it and send it to wherever people are. So it's ongoing right now. We'll probably continue iterating for a little bit as we work through this transition.
Thank you, Greer. Yeah, I mean, what I think about a lot, and one of the questions I got a lot is, it's fine for those who have established relationships and networks to now switch over to the, wherever type of mindset. But what's it going to be like for the new people who we onboard? How are they going to get embedded into our culture? And I know that teams now are working on designing and iterating a new onboarding experience for all of our Rocketeers, a more formalized networking and mentoring, where we're going to have to adapt some of the way we did things to this new way. And I think what I love about Bottle Rocket is that as our ethos is iterative design, right? So we will get better by trying a lot of different things, some of which won't work, and that's okay. So anyway, we're wrapping it up and we're coming to the end of our time. I am going to give Calvin a last opportunity to share something.
I would suggest that, everyone's mileage varies, with anything. What we're doing definitely is working for Bottle Rocket. Part of going first is being able to not just set an example, but also be a pioneer to help others make this kind of decision. And every company would need to look at work from wherever through the lens of their own, culture, their company needs and whatnot. But I assure you that autonomy is one of the best way to reward the people that work their tails off every day for your organization. And that autonomy implies trust, and trust breeds deeper relationships. Relationships breed engagement, and engagement produces better and better work. So at the end of the day, it really is all about the work. Isn't that what really matters?
Awesome. Thank you. I want to encourage anyone watching this, if you have any questions on work from wherever or anything you've heard today, please reach out to us. We would be thrilled to share anything that we know or are experiencing. Luke, thank you. Greer, thank you. Calvin, thank you. Have a great day, everyone.